the wisdom of moving on, from story to strength. Close your eyes for a moment and think of your favorite story. Every great story has a turning point where the hero decides to leave the familiar, often painful, past behind to step into an unknown future. That is exactly where you are standing right now, at the edge of your own greatest adventure. This book is your map and your compass for that journey, a guide to transforming the weight of what was into the wisdom that will propel you forward. We often spend so much time replaying the old scenes of our lives that we miss the new ones being written right in front of us. The past has its place, but that place is not in the driver's seat of your present mind or your future dreams. Consider this your official invitation to cross that threshold, to move from being a character stuck in an old story to becoming the author of a new, stronger one. Your life is not behind you. It is ahead of you, waiting to be lived with both hands open and a heart ready for what's next. Think of a tree in the middle of a fierce storm. Its branches may bend and its leaves may be torn away, but its roots dig deeper and it stands ready for the sun after the rain. You are that tree, and your past experiences, even the brutal ones, have given you roots of incredible depth and strength you might not even see yet. This is not about forgetting where you came from or pretending the hard things never happened. It is about learning how to use every single experience, good and bad, as fertile ground for incredible growth. We are going to walk together through understanding your story, releasing what holds you back, building a powerful present, and turning your newfound strength into a way of life. Each chapter is a step, each idea a tool, and each moment of insight a spark of light. So take a deep breath, turn the page, and let's begin the most important work you will ever do, building a life where your past informs you but never defines you again. Chapter 1. The Stories We Tell Ourselves. Imagine a woman named Alina who kept a beautifully decorated box on her shelf labeled My Life. For years, she only placed inside it notes about her failures and rejections, the painful words others had said, and her moments of deepest doubt. One day, her curious niece asked to see the treasures inside, and Alina was filled with shame as she opened it. But her niece simply said, "Auntie, this box is too pretty for such sad things. Can we put some happy treasures in here too?" That moment changed everything for Alina. She realized she had been the sole author of a story that only focused on one dark chapter, completely ignoring the joys, victories, and love that filled the other pages. She began to add new notes, a thank you card from a friend, a photo from a day she felt pure joy, a leaf from a peaceful walk. The story of her life, as told by that box, transformed from a tragedy into a complex, beautiful, and true tale of a full human experience. Our minds work just like Alina's box, constantly collecting and curating the memories and thoughts we decide are important. The narrative you repeat to yourself in the quiet moments, that running commentary about who you are and what you are capable of, shapes your entire world. If you tell yourself you are unlucky in love, you will see every date as proof and miss the person who is genuinely interested. If you tell yourself you are not a math person, you shut down a whole world of possible learning and growth. These stories feel like absolute truth, but they are often just interpretations, old recordings we play out of habit. The first step to freedom is simply becoming aware of the soundtrack, to notice the specific sentences that loop in your mind when you face a challenge or look in the mirror. This awareness is not about judgment. It is about curiosity, like a scientist discovering fascinating data about a unique subject, you. Let's play a game right now. Think of a recent small setback, maybe a mistake at work or a plan that got canceled. What is the first story that pops into your head? Is it, "I always mess things up," or "nothing ever works out for me"? Now, here is your challenge. Come up with two completely different stories for the exact same event. Perhaps the canceled plan was the universe giving you a needed rest, or the work mistake was a brilliant lesson that will prevent a huge error next year. See how the feeling in your body changes with each version. This exercise proves a powerful truth. You are not stuck with the first story your mind offers. The events of your past are fixed, but the meaning you give them is flexible, and that meaning is where your power lives. By practicing this mental flexibility, you start to loosen the grip of the old, limiting tailies. Now let's get practical. I want you to grab a notebook or even your phone's notes app and create two lists. Title the first list The Old Story. Here, write down the top 3 negative narratives you suspect you carry. Maybe it's I'm not good enough, I can't trust people, or I have to do everything myself. Just seeing them written down takes away some of their hidden power. Now title the second list The Evidence Against the Story. This is where you become a detective for your own greatness. For every old story, find at least 2 pieces of real evidence that prove it is not completely true. If your story is I can't trust people, write down the name of a friend who has always been there for you. If it's I always fail, write down a time you succeeded, no matter how small. This list is your first collection of new, truer treasures for your mental box. This work of rewriting your internal story is not a one-time event. It is a daily practice of gentle redirection. Every morning, you have the chance to set the tone for the day's narrative. Instead of waking up and immediately worrying about everything that could go wrong, try starting with this sentence. Today, I get to write a good part of my story. Carry that intention with you. When the old harsh story tries to speak up during the day, acknowledge it. There's the I'm not smart enough story again. And then deliberately choose a different thought. You might say, I am learning and growing every single day. It will feel awkward at first, like writing with your non-dominant hand, but with repetition, it becomes your new natural. You are the narrator, the editor, and the publisher of the story of your life. The chapters of pain and difficulty were real, but they do not get to be the whole book. From this moment forward, you have permission to highlight the moments of courage, connection, and joy just as boldly. Think of Alina adding those new treasures to her box. Her past didn't change, but her focus did, and that changed everything. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess, and you are now learning to use it to build you up instead of break you down. This is the foundation of everything that follows. A conscious, compassionate, and courageous authorship of your own story. Get ready, because the next chapter is even more exciting as we learn how to stop letting that story weigh us down like an anchor. Chapter 2: The Anchor and the Sail. Leo loved sailing his small boat on the lake every weekend. For years, he kept a massive, rusted anchor tied to the bow, a family heirloom he felt obligated to carry. He noticed his boat was slow, sat low in the water, and was hard to steer, especially when the wind promised a thrilling ride. He blamed the calm winds or his own sailing skills. One day, an old sailor on the dock pointed and said, "Son, that anchor is for holding you still in a storm. Why are you dragging it while trying to catch the wind?" Leo, embarrassed, finally hauled the heavy anchor onto the dock. Immediately, his boat rose in the water, nimble and responsive. With the very next breeze, he shot across the lake with a speed and joy he had forgotten was possible. He kept the anchor on the dock, knowing he could retrieve it if a true storm ever hit, but he never dragged it behind him again. We all carry our own versions of Leo's anchor. These are not the useful lessons from our past, but the heavy, rusted burdens we drag through our daily lives. Grudges we won't release, shame over old mistakes, beliefs that we are damaged or limited. They sit in the bow of our minds, weighing us down, making every forward movement feel exhausting and slow. We mistake the drag for our own inability to sail well, not seeing the obvious weight we can choose to let go. The first step is to identify your anchor. What is the one story, resentment, or regret that you find yourself thinking about most often? What heavy thing do you mentally drag from situation to situation, relationship to relationship? Naming it is like Leo seeing the anchor for what it is, a tool for a specific purpose that is now being misused. An anchor has a proper function. It provides stability and safety in a storm so you are not dashed against the rocks. The past can serve the same purpose. Your experiences ground you and give you wisdom for navigating true crises. But when the weather is calm and the wind is inviting you to explore new shores, dragging that anchor is a choice that costs you the journey. Ask yourself today, Is my current life situation a true storm where I need to drop anchor and hold steady, or is it open water where I am meant to sail? For most of us, we are dragging anchors in calm seas, holding onto past pain out of habit or fear of being unmoored. The beautiful truth is that you can keep your anchor on deck, ready if needed, without letting it sink you. Releasing the anchor is a conscious act of courage. It doesn't mean throwing your history overboard and pretending it never existed. It means untying the rope that connects it to your present moment. This looks like deciding, I will no longer let that old betrayal dictate how I trust my new friend. It sounds like saying to yourself, that failure taught me what I needed to know, and I am done punishing myself for it. The moment you mentally untie that rope, you will feel an immediate lightness. You might also feel a brief fear of floating freely, but that is the sensation of possibility returning. Your mind, no longer focused on dragging dead weight, can now turn its energy to raising the sail. Your sail is your hope, your intention, and your focus on the future. It is what catches the wind of opportunity, inspiration, and new experiences. While the anchor looks backward, the sail looks forward, eager for what is coming. You cannot fully raise your sail while your anchor is deployed. Today, practice shifting your focus from anchor to sail. Spend 5 minutes writing down or dreaming about what you want to move toward, a feeling of peace, a new skill, a deeper connection. Visualize your sail filling with a good wind, pulling you gently and surely toward that horizon. This simple act begins to retrain your brain's orientation from what was to what can be. You are the captain of your ship and the entire ocean awaits. The anchor of your past has served its purpose. It taught you stability and showed you that you can withstand storms. Now, it is time to stow it properly and become fascinated with the art of sailing. The wind is always blowing in new directions, offering new destinations. Your job is to adjust your sails, to steer with purpose, and to enjoy the ride. The feeling of the boat cutting through the water, propelled by hope, is your birthright. In the next chapter, we will explore how the very storms that made you need that anchor also planted within you the most surprising seeds of strength, proving that nothing in your journey has been wasted. Chapter 3: The Gift in the Wound. Maya had a scar on her forearm from a childhood accident, and for years she hid it, seeing only a mark of pain and clumsiness. One afternoon, she met a gardener who noticed the scar and told her a story about grafting trees. He explained that gardeners make a deliberate wound in a healthy tree branch to insert a bud from another tree. That wound, carefully bound, heals and creates a stronger union, allowing the tree to bear a new kind of fruit it never could have on its own. He said, the strongest, most fruitful places on a tree are often the grafted scars. Maya looked at her own scar with new eyes. It was no longer just a reminder of a fall. It was a symbol of her resilience, a place where her story had healed stronger, capable of bearing new fruit she had yet to imagine. Our most painful experiences are like those grafted wounds. In the moment, they are just pure hurt, and all we want is for the pain to stop. But with time and healing, they can become the very places where we develop our deepest strengths, our greatest empathy, and our most valuable wisdom. The breakup that shattered your heart might have taught you your true need for self-respect. The failure that humiliated you might have revealed your incredible capacity to get back up. The loss that left you empty might have carved out a deeper space for love and gratitude to fill later. This is not about being grateful for the pain itself, but for the person you became because you had to heal from it. Your wounds are not signs of weakness. They are proof of your survival and your potential for transformation. Think of a time you went through something difficult. Now, set aside the memory of the pain for a moment and ask yourself, what did I learn about myself that I never would have known otherwise? Did I discover I was braver than I thought, more resourceful? Did I learn who my real friends were? This is the process of finding the gift in the wound. It is like panning for gold in a river of muddy memories. You have to sift through the sediment to find those precious nuggets of insight. Those nuggets are yours forever, inalienable strengths that cannot be taken from you. They are the unique tools in your kit that you can now use to build a better future. Some wounds feel too fresh or too deep to see any gift, and that is perfectly okay. Healing has its own timeline, and forcing a silver lining onto a still bleeding cut can cause more harm. The process is gentle. Start by simply acknowledging the wound with compassion. That was really hard. It hurt me deeply. Then, when you are ready, you can ask a gentle question. Even in that darkness, was there a single small moment of help, a lesson, or a glimpse of my own strength? Perhaps it was the kindness of a stranger, the realization that you could handle intense emotion, or the decision to seek help. That small recognition is the first bud on the graft, the first sign of new life growing from the old hurt. Your collection of survived wounds is what makes you uniquely you, a person of depth, understanding, and hard-won compassion. It equips you to help others in a way that someone who has never struggled simply cannot. This is your superpower. The parent who lost their own parent young has a deep empathy for their grieving child. The person who battled anxiety knows exactly how to sit with a friend in panic. Your past pain has given you a map of dark places, and now you can hold a light for others traveling similar terrain. This reframes your history from a series of unfortunate events to a training ground for becoming a source of great good. Embrace your grafted places. They are not flaws to be hidden, but marks of incredible growth and fusion between who you were and who you are becoming. Like Maya, you can stop hiding your scars and start recognizing them as sites of strength and potential. Carry this knowledge forward. No experience has been wasted. Every single thing you have lived through has contributed to the resilient, insightful, and capable person you are today, reading this book and choosing a new direction. Now that we have learned to find strength in our wounds, we are ready for the ultimate act of liberation, the practice of forgiveness, which is the master key to unlocking the door to your future. Chapter 4: Forgiveness as Freedom. There was once a man who carried a heavy, sharp stone in his pocket everywhere he went. Whenever he remembered a person who had wronged him, he would squeeze the stone in his fist, letting its edges bite into his palm, keeping the anger fresh. He believed this stone was his protection, his reminder to never be hurt again. One day, after years of carrying it, he opened his calloused, scarred hand and truly looked at the stone. He realized it had never hurt the people who wronged him. It had only ever hurt him. It had occupied his hand so he couldn't hold anything beautiful and weighed down his pocket so he couldn't move freely. He walked to a river, took one last look at the familiar burden and dropped it into the flowing water. As he watched it sink, he felt a lightness he had forgotten was possible, and for the first time his hand was open and empty, ready to receive something new. Forgiveness is that act of dropping the stone. It is not saying what happened was okay. It is not inviting the person back into your life. It is not forgetting. Forgiveness is a decision you make for your own peace, a declaration that you will no longer let a past hurt continue to injure your present. That sharp stone of resentment occupies mental and emotional space. It drains your energy and colors your world with pain. When you forgive, you are not doing a favor for the other person. You are issuing a pardon to yourself. You are saying, I choose to stop carrying this. I choose to free up this hand and this heart for better things. The moment you decide, the weight begins to lift, even if the feeling of freedom takes a little time to fully arrive. Let's be clear. Forgiveness is a process, not a flip you switch. It starts with honestly feeling the hurt and the anger. Pretending you are fine when you are not is just another way of carrying the stone. You are just hiding it in a different pocket. So the first step is to take the stone out and look at it. Acknowledge the pain clearly. What you did hurt me. It made me feel small and broken. Say it out loud. Write it in a letter you never send, but get the truth of the injury out of your system. This honesty is not weakness. It is the essential cleaning of the wound before it can heal properly. You cannot forgive a hurt you haven't fully admitted to yourself. The next part of the process is understanding that forgiveness is about your story, not theirs. You are not rewriting history to make the other person a hero. You are rewriting the future of your own mind. Try this perspective shift. See the person who hurt you as someone who was themselves wounded, limited, and acting out of their own pain or ignorance. This doesn't excuse their action, but it can help drain the poison of personal malice from the memory. It turns them from a monster in your story into a flawed human, which can be easier to release. Your goal is to take away their power to keep hurting you, to reclaim the narrative of your life as your own. Now practice the actual release. A powerful ritual is to write the person's name or the event on a real piece of paper. Sit quietly, hold the paper, and say to yourself, "For my peace, I am choosing to release this. I'm letting go of my grip on this pain." Then safely burn the paper in a sink or fire pit, or tear it into tiny pieces and throw it away. As you do, visualize that sharp stone finally leaving your hand. Feel the physical sensation of unclenching a fist you've held tight for years. You might need to do this more than once, and that's perfectly fine. Each time, you are teaching your nervous system a new truth. You are safe, you are free, and you are no longer defined by that old hurt. With your hands and heart now open and lighter, you will notice a change in your daily life. You will have more mental energy for your passions. You will be more present with the people who love you now. You may find yourself breathing more deeply, literally and figuratively. This is the freedom forgiveness grants, the space to live fully in your present, unhaunted by the ghosts of past battles. You have dropped the stone in the river, and now your hands are free to create, to hold, and to reach for what you truly desire. This monumental act clears the path for our next adventure, learning how to rewrite the old scripts that have been running your life on autopilot. Chapter 5. Unwriting the Old Scripts. Imagine a playwright who wrote a tragic, dramatic script in her youth, filled with betrayal, loss, and a hero who never succeeds. For decades, she insisted this was the only play her theater could perform. The actors grew bored, the audience stopped coming, but she refused to write anything new, convinced it was her only true work. One day, a new stagehand asked, "If you could write any story at all with no rules, what would it be?" Annoyed at first, the playwright later that night doodled a scene, a comedy, full of hope and quirky joy. It felt thrilling and terrifying. She began to secretly write a new play just for herself. When she finally gathered the courage to share a scene, the actors lit up with excitement. The energy in the theater shifted completely, and she realized she wasn't stuck with the old script. She had simply forgotten she was allowed to write a new one. You have an old script running in your mind, written over years by your experiences, family messages, and societal expectations. It dictates your lines. "I'm not the kind of person who speaks up. Money is always a struggle. I'll probably be alone." It sets the scenes, often predicting conflict or disappointment before anything even happens. You've been acting out this script for so long it feels like destiny, but it is not. It is just a story you learned, and like any story, it can be edited, revised, or tossed out entirely. The first thrilling step is to realize you are not just the actor. You are the playwright, the director, and the producer of your life's production. The power to call cut and demand a rewrite is always in your hands. Let's identify one of your old scripts. Think of a recurring challenge in your life, perhaps in relationships, work, or your self-image. What is the predictable story that plays out? Maybe it's "I get close to people and then they leave," or "I start projects with excitement but never finish them." Write that script down as a simple sentence. Now here is your director's note. That script is based on past data, not future potential. It was written by a younger version of you who was doing their best with the information they had. You now have new information, new strengths, and the authority to say, "That version of the story no longer serves the character's growth. We need a rewrite." Rewriting begins with a single new line. If your old script says, "I'm bad with money," your new line could be, "I am learning to be smart with my finances." See the difference. The first is a fixed identity. The second is a fluid process of growth. Write down 3 new, empowering lines that directly contradict your old script. Post them where you will see them every day. The next time you face a situation that triggers the old story, consciously deliver one of your new lines, either out loud or in your mind. It will feel strange, like an actor breaking character, but that is the exact moment you start to reclaim your creative power. You are rehearsing a new role. Now let's write a brand new scene. Close your eyes and vividly imagine a situation where you would normally act out the old script, but this time, direct yourself to act from the new one. Imagine the dialogue, your confident body language, and the positive outcome. Feel the emotions of success and alignment. This mental rehearsal is not just daydreaming. It is literally forging new neural pathways, convincing your brain that this new way of being is possible and safe. The more detailed your imagined scene, the more real it becomes to your subconscious, making it easier to perform when real life gives you the cue. The theater of your mind is now under new management. You are no longer bound to the tired, tragic repeats of yesterday. Every morning you get to decide, will I perform the old hit of anxiety and limitation, or will I premiere something fresh, brave, and full of potential? The audience of your own soul is waiting for a show that inspires them. With each conscious choice to speak a new line, you are not just acting, you are becoming the author of a life that excites you. And as you step into this creative power, you'll notice a critical voice from the shadows trying to pull you back to the old production. In our next chapter, we learn how to handle that voice, not with a fight, but with surprising kindness. Chapter 6. Quieting the Inner Critic. In a small village, there was a dedicated town crier whose job was to make announcements. Over time, after hearing many complaints and setbacks, he became bitter. He started shouting only the bad news, the warnings, and the criticisms, even when there were festivals and good harvests to celebrate. The villagers grew anxious and discouraged, but they assumed the crier's voice was the official truth. One day, a young girl stood up and said, "Sir, why do you only tell us what's wrong? I saw a beautiful sunrise and my neighbor helped me fix my fence." The crier, stunned, had no answer. The girl started sharing small, good news each day. Slowly, others joined in. The crier's voice didn't disappear, but it was now balanced by many other kinder, truer voices, and the village's spirit lifted immeasurably. Your inner critic is that outdated town crier. It started as a protective mechanism, trying to keep you safe from failure or rejection by pointing out every possible flaw and risk. But like the crier, it has become stuck in a loop of negativity, broadcasting fear as if it were the whole truth. Its voice feels authoritative, familiar, and loud, so we often mistake it for our own genuine voice or reality itself. But it is not. It is just one channel on the radio of your mind, and today you learn how to change the station. You do not have to silence this voice with force. You simply need to stop treating it as the sole source of news and start tuning into other, more supportive channels. The first step is to separate from the critic. Give it a silly name like Grumpy Gus or the Doomsayer. When you hear that critical thought, "You'll never get this right," recognize it. "Ah, there's Grumpy Gus again doing his thing." This creates instant distance between you and the thought. You are not the thought, you are the observer hearing the thought. This small shift is incredibly powerful. It turns a crushing judgment into mere background noise from a character you know is overly negative. You wouldn't take life advice from a cartoon villain, so stop taking your life direction from this caricature of criticism. Now build your panel of kinder voices. If the inner critic is one town crier, who else should be on your mental council? Create them. There could be the coach who says, "You've got this, just take the first step." The wise friend who says, "What did you learn from this?" The cheerleader who says, "I'm so proud of you for trying." When the critic pipes up, consciously ask your counsel to weigh in. Let the coach and the cheerleader speak louder. Write down what they would say. You are training your brain to access compassion and encouragement as easily as it accesses criticism, building a balanced inner community. Practice talking back with concrete facts. The inner critic deals in exaggerations and absolutes. "You always mess up. You're a total failure." Your job is to respond with the specific, nuanced truth. "I made a mistake on this one task. I have successfully completed many other tasks. This does not define me." This factual rebuttal dismantles the critic's broad, shaky generalizations. It is like correcting a faulty news report with verified data. Keep a success log in your notes. A simple list of things you did well each day, no matter how small. When the critic attacks, open your log and read 3 entries. Let the evidence speak for itself. Finally, thank your critic for its misguided concern and redirect its energy. This might sound strange, but it works. Say to it, "Thank you for trying to protect me from embarrassment. I've got this now." Then turn your attention firmly toward action. The critic thrives when you are paralyzed in thought. Action is its kryptonite. Do one small thing toward your goal, send the email, make the call, do 5 minutes of the project. The moment you move, you shift from the critic's territory of worry into your own territory of creation. The voice will fade into the background, replaced by the focus of the task at hand. You are the mayor of your mental village, and you decide which voices get the microphone. By acknowledging the critic without obeying it, building a supportive counsel, and taking action, you transform your inner world from a place of fear to a place of balanced, constructive guidance. The noise dies down, and in that quiet, you can finally hear your own true voice, the one that is calm, capable, and kind. With this new internal peace, you are ready for the beautiful practice of grounding yourself firmly in the only moment you can ever truly live in, the present. Chapter 7. The Power of Presence. Luca was a famous travel photographer who visited the most stunning places on Earth. His colleagues marveled at his beautiful pictures but noticed he was always stressed, already planning the next shoot, never seeming to enjoy where he was. On a trip to a tranquil mountain village, his camera broke. Frustrated at first, he was forced to just sit and watch the sunset. With no lens to look through, he saw the colors melt across the sky with his own eyes. He felt the cool air on his skin, heard the distant bells from the village, and smelled pine trees. For the first time in years, he was not capturing a moment for later. He was fully living inside it. That evening, he felt a deep peace he'd been searching for in all his travels. He later said the broken camera was the best thing that ever happened to him. It gave him back the present moment. We are all like Luca with his camera, often viewing our lives through the lens of the past or the future. We replay old conversations or pre-live future worries, missing the rich, real experience happening right in front of us. This moment, the one where you are reading these words, feeling the weight of the book or device in your hands, hearing the sounds around you, is the only moment you can actually experience. The past is a memory, the future is a thought, but the present is real life. Anxiety lives in the future, depression often dwells in the past, but peace, joy, and power are found right here, right now. Training yourself to live here is the greatest gift you can give your mind. Presence starts with your senses, your direct line to the current moment. Let's do a quick exercise. Pause reading. Notice 5 things you can see. Now 4 things you can feel: the fabric of your clothes, the air temperature. 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell. 1 thing you can taste. You have just anchored yourself firmly in the present. Your mind had no choice but to leave its worries and come to where your body is. This simple 5-4-3-2-1 ground technique is a lifeline you can use anytime you feel pulled into the past or future. It is a gentle, powerful way to say to your brain, "We are here, and here is safe." Bring presence to ordinary activities. Turn a routine like washing dishes or walking to your car into a mindfulness practice. Instead of planning your day while you scrub a plate, feel the warmth of the water, see the shimmer of the bubbles, notice the pattern on the ceramic. When you walk, feel the rhythm of your steps, the sun or wind on your face, the ground beneath your feet. This is not about adding more to your to-do list. It is about doing what you are already doing, but with your full attention. In doing so, you transform mundane tasks into small, sacred moments of peace. You discover that life is not waiting for you in the next big event. It is whispering to you in the quiet of the now. Presence is also the key to breaking free from regret and worry. When you catch yourself mentally time traveling to a painful past event, gently say, "That is not happening now." Feel your feet on the floor, breathe. When you spiral into anxiety about tomorrow, say, "That is a story about the future. Right now I am safe." This does not dismiss your feelings, it contextualizes them. It reminds your nervous system that the actual present moment is likely manageable, even peaceful. Over time, this practice shrinks the mental space that past and future problems can occupy, giving you more room to breathe, think, and act clearly. By choosing presence, you reclaim your life from the ghost of yesterday and the phantom of tomorrow. You become like Luca, finally seeing the sunset with your own eyes instead of through a filter. The present moment is where your power resides, the power to choose, to act, to feel, to connect. It is the foundation upon which you can consciously build a life you love, brick by mindful brick. And now, with your mind centered in the now, we turn to the exciting work of using this present moment awareness to intentionally design the days that will become your new, empowered life. Chapter 8: Designing Your Days. Maria felt her days were a blur of reacting to emails, chores, and other people's needs, ending each night exhausted but feeling she had accomplished nothing for herself. She decided to conduct a one-week experiment. Each evening, she would write down one small, intentional action she wanted to take the next day just for her growth or joy, like reading for 20 minutes, taking a different route on her walk, or calling an old friend. She would schedule it in her calendar like an important meeting. The first day, her meeting was to sketch for 15 minutes after lunch. Doing it felt rebellious and wonderful. By the end of the week, these small, deliberate actions had created a new rhythm. Her days no longer felt like they happened to her. She felt she was gently, kindly guiding them. The blur had sharpened into a series of meaningful moments. Your days are the building blocks of your life. If you don't design them with intention, they will be designed for you by deadlines, distractions, and old habits. Designing your day is not about creating a rigid military schedule. It is about inserting small, powerful choices that align with the person you want to become. It is about becoming the author of your daily story, not just a character being pushed along by the plot. Think of it like a garden. If you don't plant the seeds you want, weeds will grow on their own. Your intentional actions are the seeds of your future self. What one small seed can you plant today? Start with a morning ritual that sets your tone. This doesn't need to be an hour of meditation and journaling, though it can be. It can be 5 minutes of sitting with your coffee while looking out the window, thinking of one thing you're grateful for. It could be saying your new script from Chapter 5 out loud. Today, I am capable and calm. The key is consistency and intention. This small act is you taking the helm of your ship first thing in the morning, before the winds of the day try to steer you off course. It whispers to your subconscious, I am in charge here. Next, protect your energy with focus blocks. Identify the 1 or 2 most important tasks for your growth or goals each day. Schedule a specific, short time to work on them. Even 25 minutes is enough. Turn off notifications and tell others you are unavailable. During this block, you are not just doing a task, you are honoring your commitment to yourself. You are proving that your priorities matter. The incredible feeling of completion from this focused action creates momentum that carries positively through the rest of your day, making you feel effective and in control. Design in moments of joy and connection. Intentionality isn't only for work, it's for pleasure and love too. Schedule a 10-minute break to listen to your favorite song, send a thoughtful text to a friend, or step outside and feel the sun. These are not frivolous. They are essential fuel for your spirit. They remind you that life is not just about crossing things off a list. It is about experiencing beauty and warmth. These moments act as anchors of positivity throughout your day, ensuring that even on busy days, you are nourished. Finally, end your day with a gentle review. Take 2 minutes before bed to ask yourself, what was one small win today? And what is one thing I look forward to tomorrow? This practice does 2 things. It trains your brain to scan for the positive, your win, and it creates a bridge of anticipation to the future, your look forward. It closes the day with a sense of accomplishment and opens the door to tomorrow with hope. This is how you build a life you don't need to escape from, by crafting days that feel purposeful, balanced, and truly your own. You are the architect of your time. By designing your days with conscious, loving intention, You stop being a passenger in your own life and become the driver. Each intentional choice is a declaration of your values and a step toward your future. The compound effect of these well-designed days is a life that reflects who you truly are and who you are becoming. And with this newfound sense of daily agency, you are perfectly prepared for the next essential skill: making bold, new choices from a place of hope, not fear. Chapter 9: The Courage to Choose Again. Sam had played it safe his whole life, always choosing the known path. He worked the same job, ate at the same restaurant, took the same vacation. He believed this kept him secure. One winter, an ice storm took down a tree, blocking his normal route to work. Annoyed, he was forced to take a detour down a road he'd never used. To his surprise, he passed a small community center with a sign: "Woodworking Workshop, new session starting." As a boy, he'd loved building things with his grandfather, a passion he'd boxed away as impractical. His heart leapt. The detour felt like a message. The next day, he signed up. That single choice to turn down a different road didn't just change his commute. It reawakened a part of his soul he thought was lost forever, leading him to a fulfilling new hobby and community. Every day you stand at countless crossroads. Some are big, changing careers, ending a relationship. Most are small, trying a new approach, speaking up in a meeting, signing up for a class. After past disappointments, it is easy to let fear make all your choices for you, sticking to the known path even when it makes you unhappy. But here is a liberating truth: your past choices do not have to dictate your future ones. You are allowed to choose again. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to take a detour. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that your desire for growth is more important than your fear of the unknown. Let's redefine a mistake. A mistake is not a permanent stain on your record. It is data. It is information about what doesn't work for you. Thomas Edison didn't fail 10,000 times while inventing the light bulb. He found 10,000 ways that didn't work. Each wrong choice in your past has given you invaluable data about your values, your boundaries, and your needs. You are now smarter and more informed than you were before. You can use that data to make a better, braver choice today. So, thank your past choices for the lessons, and then give yourself full permission to choose differently based on what you now know. Practice making small, low-stakes choices from a place of curiosity, not fear. Today, choose something different on purpose. Take a different route on your walk. Order a new item from the menu. Listen to a genre of music you usually avoid. The goal is not the outcome. The goal is to exercise your choice muscle. Feel what it's like to decide based on "I wonder what that's like," instead of "I know this is safe." Each small, curious choice strengthens your belief in your own ability to navigate new things. It builds a track record of successful adaptability that your brain can refer to when a bigger crossroad appears. When facing a bigger decision, ask yourself two powerful questions. First, what would I choose if I were not afraid? Close your eyes, quiet the noise of fear, and listen for the first answer that comes from your heart or gut. Second, will I regret not trying this in 5 years? Often our deepest regrets are not for the things we did, but for the chances we didn't take, the choices we were too scared to make. Let your future self, who values growth and experience, advise your present self. This perspective shrinks the temporary fear of action next to the potential long-term regret of inaction. You are not a prisoner of your past decisions. You are a pioneer, and every new day offers fresh territory to explore. Sam's blocked road was not an obstacle. It was an invitation back to himself. Your own blocked roads, disappointments, endings, changes, are often life's way of forcing a detour towards something better suited for who you are becoming. Embrace the courage to choose again. With each conscious, hopeful choice, you are not just deciding what to do, you are deciding who you are, a person who moves forward. And as you make these brave choices, you will begin to uncover strengths within you that have been waiting in the wings, ready for their moment. Let's meet them now. Chapter 10: Your Strengths Rediscovered. An archaeologist spent years digging in a foreign desert, convinced the great treasure was in a famous, well-mapped site. She found only scraps. Discouraged, she finally listened to a local elder's story about a cursed hill nearby, ignored by other experts. On a whim, she took her team there. On the first day, they uncovered the edge of a stunning mosaic. Within weeks, they discovered an entire lost city that rewritten history. Her greatest discovery didn't come from following the old map, but from having the resilience to try the ignored place when all else failed. The curse was just a story. The real treasure was buried in plain sight, waiting for someone with her particular perseverance to look. You are that archaeologist, and your strengths are the lost city. You have been digging in the familiar sites of your personality, perhaps convinced your treasure lies in being more organized, more outgoing, or more like someone else. But your most powerful strengths are often buried in the very experiences you label as curses, your struggles, your sensitivities, your unique way of navigating the world. The resilience you built surviving a hard time, the deep empathy you gained from your own pain, the careful observation you developed from feeling like an outsider, these are not flaws. They are your unique, buried treasures, the superpowers you earned through living your specific life. It is time to start digging in the right place. Let's begin your dig. Take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. On the left side, list 3 of your past challenges or perceived weaknesses. For example, I overthink things, I'm too sensitive, or I had to grow up too fast. Now on the right side, reframe each one as a strength. I overthink becomes I am thorough and consider all angles. I'm too sensitive becomes I am deeply empathetic and attuned to others. I grew up too fast becomes I am responsible, resourceful, and independent. Look at that right-hand column. Those are not polite alternatives. They are the true, powerful strengths that emerged from those experiences. They are your personal toolkit. Now remember a time you succeeded, big or small. What strengths did you use? Did you use perseverance to finish a tough project? Did you use creativity to solve a problem? Did you use kindness to diffuse a conflict? We often dismiss our successes as luck or downplay them, but they are direct evidence of your strengths in action. Start a strength log. Each evening, write down one instance where you used one of your reframed strengths. Today, I used my thoroughness to catch an error. Today, I used my empathy to listen to a friend. This log becomes your map, proving to you that these treasures are not buried. You are using them every day. Your unique combination of strengths is your superpower formula, your competitive advantage in life. No one else has your exact blend of resilience, insight, and capacity forged in your specific fires. The world needs what you have. The person who survived loss can sit with others in grief like no one else. The person who battled anxiety understands courage as a daily act. The person who feels deeply can create art or connection that moves hearts. Stop trying to hide these parts of yourself to fit a standard mold. Instead, lean into them. Ask yourself, how can I use my specific strength of empathy/resilience/creativity in this situation? Design your goals and actions around these innate powers. You are not lacking. You are not behind. You are equipped with a magnificent, personalized set of tools that you have been gathering your whole life, often through the hardest lessons. The archaeologist's perseverance was her greatest asset, leading to the find of a lifetime. Your perseverance, your empathy, your unique perspective are yours. They are what make you, you. And they are exactly what you need to build the future you envision. Now that you know what tools you have, it's time to sharpen your vision of what you want to build with them. Let's look ahead and start drawing the blueprint. Chapter 11. Vision over Rear View. A pilot preparing for a long night flight walked through her pre-flight checks. Her co-pilot asked, "With all this darkness, how do you stay on course?" She pointed to the cockpit's primary instrument. "You never fly by looking out the back window at where you've been," she said. "You fly by keeping your eyes fixed on the horizon and trusting your instruments pointing forward. The runway behind us is gone. Our job is to find the one ahead." In that moment, the co-pilot understood. Life, like flight, requires focusing on the point you are heading toward, not the point you left behind. The instruments, your values, your goals, your vision, are what guide you through any darkness when the immediate view is unclear. Your mind has a default setting, the rear-view mirror. It is constantly checking what's behind you, past mistakes, old relationships, yesterday's failures. But as the pilot knows, you cannot navigate forward by looking backward. The rearview mirror is small for a reason. It's for occasional, brief glances. The windshield is huge because that's where your primary focus must be, on the open road of your future. Creating a compelling vision for your life is like programming your destination into your mental GPS. It gives your mind a positive point to focus on, pulling you forward with anticipation instead of being pushed by the regrets of the past. Let's create your vision. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and fast forward 1 year. Don't think about how you'll get there, just imagine you are living your best, most authentic life. What do you see? How do you feel when you wake up? What does your environment look like? What are you doing that brings you joy and purpose? Who is around you? Engage all your senses. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the emotions. This is not a fantasy, it is a preview. Your brain is incredibly powerful, and vividly imagining a positive future begins to wire it to recognize opportunities and make choices that align with that vision. Write down what you saw in present tense. I feel peaceful and energized. I am engaged in meaningful work. Now break that big, beautiful vision down into a horizon goal. This is a milestone on the way to your vision, achievable within the next 90 days. If your vision involves feeling healthy and strong, your 90-day horizon goal could be, I move my body in ways I enjoy 3 times a week. If your vision involves creative expression, it could be, I complete 1 small creative project. The key is to make it tangible and positive. Write it down. This horizon goal is your first checkpoint on the flight path. It gives your forward focus a specific, immediate target, making the grand vision feel manageable and real. With your horizon goal set, now look at your current instruments. These are your daily habits, routines, and choices. Ask yourself, do my current actions point me toward my horizon, or are they keeping me circling the old airport? You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Choose 1 small instrument to adjust. If your goal is about health, your adjustment could be taking a walk after dinner. If it's about creativity, it could be spending 10 minutes sketching each morning. This alignment of small daily actions with your forward vision is the secret. It turns dreaming into doing. Each aligned action is a signal to yourself. I am heading that way. Keep your eyes on your horizon, not on the obstacles. Turbulence, setbacks, doubts, bad days is a normal part of any journey. When you hit it, don't instinctively look back to the safety of the past. Instead, refocus on your instruments, your vision, your horizon goal, your next small step. Trust the process you've set. The pilot doesn't turn the plane around because of a patch of rough air. She trusts her heading and stays the course. You have everything you need within you to do the same. Your future is not a replica of your past. It is a creation waiting for your direction. And as you move toward it, you'll find you don't have to go alone. The right people can make all the difference. Chapter 12. Building Brave Connections. After a painful friendship breakup, Anna built high walls around herself. She was polite but distant, believing connection was too risky. At a weekly library book club, she kept to herself, sharing only surface-level comments. One meeting, the discussion turned to themes of loss and resilience. Heart-pounding, Anna briefly shared how a book had helped her through her own grief. Afterward, a woman named Lee approached her. "Your comment really moved me," Lee said quietly. "I went through something similar." That small moment of shared vulnerability was a crack in Anna's wall. They started having coffee, sharing not just book talk but real stories. Anna discovered that connection wasn't about finding perfect people. It was about being real with imperfect ones, and in doing so, finding unexpected strength together. Humans are wired for connection. After past hurts, it's natural to want to retreat, to believe that self-reliance is the safest path. But isolation is where the stories of our past grow louder and more distorted. Brave, healthy connections act as mirrors, reflecting back our strength when we forget it, and offering new perspectives that dilute the power of old narratives. This isn't about collecting hundreds of friends. It's about cultivating a few authentic relationships where you can be your true, growing self without fear of judgment. Your journey forward is not meant to be a solitary trek. It is a path walked richer and lighter in good company. Building brave connections starts with small, low-risk openings. Like Anna at the book club, it begins by sharing a little more of your genuine interest or a small piece of your true opinion. It could be complimenting a colleague sincerely, asking a new acquaintance a thoughtful question about themselves, or sharing a modest personal win with a family member. The goal is not a deep confession but a practice in authenticity. Each small, positive interaction builds your connection muscle and teaches your nervous system that being seen is not always dangerous. It can be affirming, uplifting, and joyful. Now evaluate your current circle with compassion, not judgment. Some relationships are anchors, some are sails. The anchors constantly pull you back into old dramas, criticize your growth, or drain your energy. The sails celebrate your progress, inspire you, and make you feel lighter. You don't necessarily need to cut people out, but you do need to consciously spend more time with your sails. Seek out people who are also interested in growth, who ask good questions, and who listen. Join a class, a club, or an online community centered on a positive interest. You attract your tribe by actively stepping into the arenas where they are likely to be. The bravest part of connection is allowing yourself to be supported. Many of us are great givers but struggle to receive. Practice saying yes to help and thank you to compliments without deflecting. When a friend offers to listen, be honest about having a tough day. When someone praises your work, simply say, "That means a lot, thank you." Receiving support gracefully is a gift you give to the other person. It allows them to feel helpful and connected, and it reinforces your own worthiness. It proves to you that you are not alone, that your burdens can be shared, making them instantly lighter. Your network of brave connections becomes your living, breathing support system. They are the people who will remind you of your strength when you forget, who will see the future you before you fully step into it, and with whom you can share the thrill of becoming. Like Anna and Lee, these bonds are forged not in perfection, but in shared, real humanity. They are proof that your past does not have to poison your future relationships. It can actually make you a more empathetic present friend. And as these connections strengthen you, you are ready for the most exciting transformation of all, stepping fully into the identity of the person you are becoming. Chapter 13. Identity in Motion. For years, David introduced himself by his job title. "I'm David, an accountant." It was safe, defined, and reflected a choice he made at 22. After joining a community theater group on a whim, he discovered a passion for set design, for creating entire worlds from scratch. One night after a successful show, someone asked, "What do you do?" He started to say, "I'm an accountant," but stopped. He smiled and said, "I'm someone who builds things. I'm a creator." That simple shift in description, from a fixed job to a fluid essence, felt like unlocking a door inside himself. He was still an accountant by day, but he no longer let that single function define his entire being. He had moved from a static noun to an active, evolving verb. We often lock our identity into nouns. I am a job, a divorcee, an anxious person, a failure. Nouns feel solid and final like statues, but you are not a statue. You are a river, constantly flowing, changing, and moving toward new terrain. Your past is a part of your watershed, but it is not your entire course. Identity in motion means embracing the verb of your life. You are becoming, learning, growing, creating, healing. This shift is liberating. If you are a verb, then a setback is just a change in current, not a damning label. Every day offers a chance to redefine yourself by your actions and aspirations, not just your history. To practice this, change your self-description language. Instead of saying "I am shy," try "I am practicing speaking up." Instead of "I am disorganized," try "I am learning to manage my time." Feel the difference. The first is a prison, the second is a process with hope and agency. Write down 3 "I am" statements you commonly use that feel limiting. Now rewrite each one as an "I am becoming" or "I am learning to" statement. Post these where you can see them. This linguistic tweak is a powerful command to your subconscious. telling it that change is not only possible but already in progress. Your actions are the truest definers of your identity. You become brave by doing brave things, not by waiting to feel brave. You become a kind person by performing kind acts. Today, choose one action that aligns with the identity you want to move toward. If you want to be a healthy person, drink an extra glass of water. If you want to be a writer, write 3 sentences. The action doesn't have to be grand. It just has to be a step in the direction of your chosen verb. These small, consistent actions build the neurological and emotional evidence that you are, in fact, that person. You are building your new identity from the inside out. Embrace the awkward phase of becoming. When you start acting in a new way, it will feel inauthentic, like wearing a costume. This is completely normal. It's the feeling of the old statue cracking and the river finding a new channel. A baby learning to walk looks awkward and falls constantly, but we don't label it a failure at walking. We see it as becoming a walker. Extend that same grace to yourself. The discomfort is not a sign you're doing it wrong. It's a sign you're doing something new and growing. Celebrate the awkwardness as proof of your courage to evolve. You are no longer a fixed point on a map defined by yesterday. You are a journey, an exploration, a story still being written with every choice you make. David didn't quit his job to become a full-time set designer. He simply expanded his identity to include his passion. You, too, can add new verbs to your description every single day. Your identity is not a life sentence. It is a lifelong creation. And as you live into this new, fluid sense of self, it's time to pause and celebrate how far this incredible river of yours has already traveled. Let's look back, not with regret, but with proud recognition. Chapter 14. Celebrating the milestones. Ella set a huge goal, to hike a mountain trail she'd seen from her window for years. The guidebook broke the trail into 10 sections. On her first attempt, she only made it through 2 sections before turning back, exhausted and disappointed. A seasoned hiker on the trail said, "You know, most people never even find the trailhead. You've already done 2 sections. That's 2 more than 0. He suggested she celebrate each section as its own victory. On her next attempt, she packed a special snack for the end of each section. Reaching the first lookout, she ate her apple and truly looked at the view, feeling proud. By celebrating each small milestone, the hike transformed from a grueling test into a joyful series of achievements. When she finally reached the summit, the celebration was immense, but so was every step that got her there. On a transformative journey, we often make one critical mistake. We only celebrate the finish line. We think, "I'll be happy when I've fully forgiven," or "I'll feel successful when I've lost all the weight." But the distance between here and there is filled with hundreds of small, brave actions that go unnoticed and uncelebrated. This is like hiking a mountain without ever looking up from your feet to see the expanding view. Celebration is the fuel for motivation. It is the act of looking up, of acknowledging, "Look how far I've come already." It turns the difficult path into a rewarding adventure and teaches your brain to associate growth with joy. Your milestones are everywhere. They are not just the big promotions or life events. A milestone is getting out of bed on a hard day. It is using your new script to talk back to the critic. It is choosing presents for 5 minutes. It is making a brave, small connection. Start a win jar or a notes file on your phone. At the end of each day, write down one small win, anything that felt like a step forward or a moment of overcoming. It could be as simple as, "I took 3 deep breaths when I felt stressed," or "I completed my focus block." On days when you feel stuck, read through these wins. You will be stunned by the evidence of your own consistent progress. This jar is your personal treasure chest of courage. Celebration doesn't require a party, it requires acknowledgement. It is a conscious pause to feel the good feeling of an accomplishment. When you complete a task from your focus block, literally say out loud, "Yes, I did that." Do a little fist pump. When you navigate a difficult conversation well, treat yourself to a favorite cup of tea and sit for a moment to soak in the pride. These micro-celebrations release dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, which wires you to want to repeat the positive behavior. You are literally training your brain to enjoy the process of growth. Share your celebrations with your sale people. Text a friend. Hey, I just finished that thing I was dreading. Small win. Their positive reinforcement doubles the reward and strengthens your connection. It also gives them permission to celebrate their small wins with you, creating an upward spiral of mutual support and positivity. By vocalizing your milestones, you make them more real and solidify your identity as someone who achieves and grows. You also inspire others to notice and celebrate their own progress. Gratitude is the deepest form of celebration. At its core, celebrating a milestone is saying thank you to yourself for showing up, for trying, for not giving up. It is gratitude for your own resilience. Make it a habit each week to review your wins and silently say, thank you for that effort. Thank you for that courage. This practice builds a profound and unshakable sense of self-worth that is based on your real daily actions, not on outside validation. You are building a life where the journey itself becomes a series of joyful discoveries. And this ability to celebrate your progress is the final piece that makes you truly unstoppable. Let's solidify that power now. Chapter 15. Becoming Unstoppable. The final stage of a rocket's journey is when it achieves escape velocity, the tremendous speed needed to break free from Earth's gravity and soar into the freedom of space. All the previous stages, the fuel burn, the careful navigation, were to reach this point. Think of your work up to now as those booster stages. You've identified old stories, released anchors, practiced presence, built strength, and celebrated wins. You have built up incredible momentum. Becoming unstoppable is not about never facing another challenge. It's about reaching your own escape velocity from the gravitational pull of the past. It's the point where your forward motion is so strong that setbacks become mere course corrections, not reasons to fall back to old ground. What does being unstoppable look like in daily life? It looks like facing a disappointment and your first thought being, what can I learn from this? Instead of I knew I would fail. It looks like feeling the pull of an old habit and consciously choosing the new, healthier path because you know how good it feels on the other side. It is resilience in action, the ability to get knocked down, feel the hurt, and then get back up, not as the same person, but as someone wiser and even more determined. You are unstoppable not because you are invincible, but because you have proven to yourself, over and over through the practices in this book, that you can handle hard things and keep moving. Your unstoppable toolkit is now complete. You have the tool of awareness, spotting the old story. You have the tool of release, forgiveness, and letting go. You have the tool of presence, grounding in the now. You have the tool of design, building intentional days. You have the tool of vision, keeping your eyes on the horizon. And you have the tool of celebration, fueling your journey with joy. When a storm hits, you don't panic. You open your toolkit. You ask, which tool do I need right now? This shifts you from a state of fear to a state of capable resourcefulness. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are a skilled navigator. The final skill of the unstoppable is the pivot. Sometimes the path forward gets completely blocked, a job loss, an illness, a betrayal. The unstoppable person does not see this as the end of the journey. They see it as a signal to pivot, to find a new route toward their horizon. Like a river meeting a boulder, they don't stop, they flow around it. Trust that your vision and your strengths are flexible. If one way is closed, your creativity and resilience will find another. Your past has already taught you how to adapt. Now you get to do it with intention and hope, not just survival. This journey does not end when you close this book. Becoming unstoppable is a lifelong practice of choosing growth day after day. Some days you will use all your tools perfectly. Other days you might forget the toolkit exists and slide back into old patterns. That is not failure, that is humanity. The unstoppable person knows that progress is not a straight line. The moment you notice the slide, simply reach for your tools again. That act of noticing and choosing again is the very essence of your power. It means the past no longer has an automatic hold on you. You are always one conscious choice away from being back on your path. You are now the author, the architect, and the unstoppable force of your own life. The past that once dominated your mind is now a library of lessons, not a prison of regrets. You move through the world with a lighter step and a brighter gaze because you know that no matter what comes, you have the wisdom and the strength to move through it and onward. You have turned your story into your strength. Carry this certainty with you. The road ahead is yours to travel, and you are more than ready for every beautiful, challenging, and magnificent mile of it. Conclusion: the journey continues. You started this book with a past that felt heavy and a future that seemed uncertain. You are finishing it with a mind that understands its own power and a heart fortified by its own resilience. Look back at the person who began reading the introduction. That person was ready for a change but might not have believed it was fully possible. Now, look at who you are today. Someone equipped with tools, insights, and a proven track record of small, brave victories. You have done the profound work of shifting your gaze from the rearview mirror to the vast, open windshield of your life. The road ahead is not a mystery to be feared, but a landscape to be explored, shaped by your choices, your vision, and your unstoppable spirit. This is not an end, but a magnificent beginning. The wisdom of moving on is not a single lesson to be learned and filed away. It is a way of living, a daily practice of choosing your present and your future over your past. Carry this book's lessons in your heart, revisit your toolkit when needed, and never forget the strength you have discovered within yourself. Your story is still being written, and the most exciting chapters are yet to come. Go forward now, not as someone fleeing the past, but as someone striding confidently toward a future that is brighter because you are here to meet it. Your strength is now your story, and it is a story of courage, growth, and limitless possibility.